And it is great having you with us on the starting lineup. A beautiful Wednesday in the Ozarks. Starting lineup brought to you by Play It Again Sports in the Fremont Shopping Center, Battlefield in Fremont, Springfield. Great deals, folks, at Play It Again Sports. Swing Right Golf, south end of Campbell Avenue near Nixa, and you can get that golf swing into perfection for the coming events this summer. Citizens Bank of Rogersville with two locales. One is adjacent to Highland Springs, and the other is in Rogersville itself. And Marshfield Chevrolet at the I-44 exit, a couple of left turns, and you're on the north side of I-44, and you are driving right into Marshfield Chevrolet. Thanks to all our sponsors on this 4th of July week. Ed Reynolds along with
Scott Purrier.
And a special guest.
Yeah, special guest on the list. Of course, Art Haynes is not with us today. He's on his way back from receiving the 2025 Broadcaster of the Year award last night in North Carolina, so we'll have Art back with us, I think, probably next week since we're off Friday this week on shows. But our special guest on the line with us announced a very difficult decision for him to make, but he is the former Logan-Rogersville basketball standout, Indiana commit, Chase Branham on the line with us. Chase, good morning.
Good morning. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, and kind of wanted you to just join us and talk about the decision. You announced on social media on Saturday that you'll not be playing basketball at Rogersville your senior year. You're going to, and I've been pronouncing it wrong, and Ned and I, La Lumiere. We were saying La Lumiere. We were adding extra syllables in there with the U's and everything, but it's La Lumiere outside Chicago in LaPorte, Indiana. Kind of take us through the decision-making process, and obviously it took you some time to make the decision. What did it come down to when you announced that on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it was a super tough decision for me. I've grown up in Rogersville since I was, in 4th grade. So it was definitely not an easy decision. It took me till the end of June to really decide and figure out where I wanted to go. But the process definitely was difficult. A lot of sitting down with the family, listening out the pros and cons of, each one. But definitely, La Lumiere came out ahead of all the others. Talked to some other prep schools, but really La Lumiere and Raj, it really came down to those two, figuring out which one to make me a better person, a better player this next year. So I feel like La Lumiere was definitely the right decision for me going into my senior year, accomplishing all that I have in the area. I feel like I just want to go kind of challenge myself and try to play against the best. So I feel like that's what it came down to, being away from home, getting used to, being in Indiana and really getting a feel for playing against, the best talent in the country.
Chase, how did they approach you about going to school there? And as you mentioned, this wasn't your only option. You had others.
Yeah, so I got connected through my AAU team. We had a kid probably 5 years ago go to La Lumiere. But they actually reached out to me during the season or right before the season this past year, my junior year. And I kind of told them, I don't really want to talk to him throughout the year. I'll talk to him after season. I was focused on a state championship, so it really wasn't in my interest my junior year. Had a couple others reach out throughout before my junior year that summer. And I was kind of like, I want to win a state championship with my guys. Maybe next year I'll kind of decide next year, but yeah, for sure. I feel like they kind of reached out, going into my junior year, kind of, told them going to go my senior year, and then talked to them this past month, went up on campus, super cool, kind of like a lake style out in the country, not too far away from a city, but definitely, a little isolated to where, it's not necessarily locked down, but you're definitely focusing on, what you want to focus on, so.
Obviously, tough for you to tell Coach Shafer and your teammates the news. That's probably the hardest part for you. Is there a little bit of this, Chase? And honestly, and Ned and I talked about this yesterday, but, you win a state championship as a junior with your friends. You average 25, 28 points a game, whatever in that range. There wasn't really a lot more for you to do here. Was that part of it, and is a large part of it getting yourself ready to play Big Ten basketball in another year and a half?
100%. I feel like that was a big part of the decision as well. Is I feel like if I went back, there's really not a lot of goals for me to set for myself an extent. Of course, you can go after another state championship, but there's nothing better than, going and trying to play it against the best, try to, compete, in the EYBL Scholastic League and try to, go win a national championship. So I feel like that definitely hits on, a big part of my decision.
Chase, you must have in the back of your mind some element of the game that has to be improved, and you can do that in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
What level is that? What does Chase Branham need to do to make himself elite?
I'd say continuing to keep playing against like physicality. I feel like that's the one thing that I'm have to get used to. I'm at Indiana's, I'm playing against grown men. So being able to play against the top high school guys that are, closer to that, it's not going to be 100%, just like what it's going to be in the Big Ten. I mean, Big Ten's, it's different. Like coming as a freshman, 18-year-old kid, like you're gonna go through some ups and downs for sure. But I feel like that's something, as long as with speed, getting used to play against, fast, quicker guards, kind of like I did in AAU, but just continuing that process of playing against, bigger, quicker guys. I feel like will really benefit me going into my freshman year.
I think the other things too is you've got to learn the 360 dunk. What you're doing now, and then maybe like Jordan taking off from the free throw line to dunk. Those are things too, because your dunk game is kind of there, right? I mean, would you say it could improve?
For sure.
Yeah.
I definitely can do some tricks, now, like
between the legs, that type of thing, right?
Yeah, which I've got a couple of those, but not very consistently. So.
Well, tell us, and the one thing that speculation, again, not hearing it from your mouth, but, we thought, okay, well, he's going to Lumiere because it's in Indiana. He's an Indiana commit. The Hoosiers want him close by so they can keep tabs on him, maybe throw up a little fence around so guys like Coach Cal and Self and those guys don't come sniffing around. But that was not the case. You said Indiana was supporting you either way you went, correct?
Yep. Indiana's very neutral. Same with my family. I mean, everyone, in my circle is very, very neutral. They just wanted me to, figure it out for myself and do what I thought's best for me. So,
but the one thing you got to tell them this: they're mispronouncing the school's name. It can't be La Lumiere. It's got to be La Lumiere. It's French. Come on.
we want the French pronunciation there, but I mean, we'll go with La Lumiere. Tell us about your AAU team. Who do you play with? Who's the coach, and where do they play? For most
I play for KC Run GMC. We're in the Under Armour circuit. Of course, they're from Kansas City, and then the director and then my head coach is LJ Goolsby. He's been running the program for probably 20 years, has tons of great connections. He's a really good dude, so kind of stuck with him and have a good relationship with Coach LJ. So there's really no reason for me, to leave to go to any other, circuit or team. So I've been playing with him all 3 years 15, 16.
On that ball club, Chase, do you have any other your teammates who are going D1 and anybody we might know?
Yes, we have 2 or 3 that have offers right now, and then I wouldn't be surprised if we have a couple more get offers throughout the year. It's just, kind of tough with the portal. We don't have any power fours as of right now, but we have this kid named Michael Thomas. He's not committed yet, but he's from Summit Christian up in Kansas City. So he's been down every once in a while. They play Catholic, and they have a tournament up there. And then there's another kid. He's from in Kansas area. You probably wouldn't know him, but his name's Connor Kerrigan. So those are the 2 right now. But there's, of course, Kylan Pickering from Ozarks. He 100% should have some Division I offers. So he's getting looks right now, but I don't see why he doesn't get some big time D1 offers. But there's a couple more for sure. But those are just some of the main ones.
Where do your travels take you in the month of July, tournament-wise? Where do you guys go?
We'll go to Atlanta for session 3. It'll be like 4 days, a lot of basketball, setting up for the finals, and then we leave that same week to go to Louisville, Kentucky, for our UA finals.
And we've talked to you about this in the past when we've had you on, but you seem very firm and committed to Indiana, and we're in a world now where you haven't signed anything. You don't sign till November, but this world now is crazy with all the NIL and all the monies being thrown around, that type of stuff. Do you still get hit with that, even though, or have you made it clear to everybody, hey, you know what, you're wasting your time. I'm going to be a Hoosier, and why?
I really haven't had a ton of people reach out personally. Like I've people really respected, my decision. And I also have a great agent that kind of, a great organization that kind of takes care of that. They have a lot of NBA guys, so they understand, the process, and they have college guys like they had Braden Smith and a couple other guys. I Bennett Sturts. So I had a couple guys in college. They kind of understand how it goes. So they've done a great job at making sure to talking to Indiana, talking to me, which of course I talk to them too. But they take care of the business side of it, and I'm just talk to them about me, them, about ball. So
we'd be surprised if the answer is not in the affirmative, but with Chase Branham out of the mix, in Chase Branham's opinion, do the Wildcats still win a state championship?
I think they have a great chance to. Yeah. I think with Titus, with Jack, Peyton, Cooper, I think there's no reason, not to. Of course you got Vashon, but I feel like they've, our guys have been there. Vashon has a couple guys returning, but in all honesty, I think I have the most confidence I'd take them 100%. So,
tell us what you're walking into at Lumiere in terms of talent there. Who's the coach? What do they have coming back, or what have they compiled for this coming season?
The coach is Pat Holmes. He's been there for probably 10 years, I'm pretty sure. He's won a national championship. He's had some of the most top guys in the country, so he understands what it means to be a top recruit, and how to prepare him for college. They have a couple guys returning, and then they're still looking for a couple more. But they have Devin Cleveland. He's the main guy. He's a top 30 recruit around my ranking, but he's a guard, so we'll be sharing the backcourt together. It'll be pretty fun.
Has he committed somewhere?
And then he is not.
Okay.
He's got crap ton of offers. And then they have a 6'5" wing coming in. I don't know his name. I forget, but he's pretty legit. Then they got a 6'8" guy coming in, tons of offers, and we got 2 7-footers. One's from Australia, and then there's another guy coming in. Don't necessarily know his name yet. Still, getting connected with the guys. So Devin, I know pretty well. We've been to Top 100 camp together. We've been to all the USA camps together. So, he's kind of tried to recruit me throughout the journey as well. Telling me to come to Lalu. So he's been great, and I'm excited to share the backcourt with him and go against him every day in practice. So it'll be good.
Chase, we talk about basketball, but you're also going to school up there as well. What will you take in your final year?
What do you say?
What will you take? What will your academics be?
Oh, I actually do not know yet. They have an actual school, so it'll be, an actual school day. They have around 200 students. So it's actually, it is a high school. It's a private high school, but they have a elite basketball program. So probably take, some decently hard classes, and then have a couple where, it'll be good. So whenever we're on the road, I'm not, too stressing out about all the schoolwork. So
do they have girls?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
it's boys
and girls.
Yeah. That would be tough, wouldn't it? Just going to an all boys school probably was,
Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely.
Don't want any part of that. But well, Chase, we appreciate your time, and before we let you go, what would you say to Logan-Rogersville, the community, the fans, your teammates? What would you like to say about your experience there?
For sure. First off, I feel like I should thank, my coaches, Coach Collins, Coach Spud, Coach, not a lot of people see what they go through, what they do throughout a daily basis, making sure we got water, we got all of our uniforms, stuff like that, just making sure they really take care of us on road trips. They're really good dudes. Of course, Coach Shafer, that's my guy, for life. He's, been through it all. We've been through it all, through the wins, through the losses. He really, put me in as a freshman. He had the confidence in me that I probably didn't have the confidence in myself yet. He saw something in me that I didn't see yet, but, he put me in as a freshman and, really gave me the opportunity, and I took full advantage of it. So I really super grateful for him, as a person and as a coach. And then of course my teammates, those are my guys. Every year, we've had a great set of guys, a great set of seniors. Every year I feel like I've gotten really close with that senior class, as well as, still trying to build my class. And the class below me. So for sure, just want to thank my teammates. And without them, state championship's not possible. So super, super grateful for them. And then, of course, the great community. I mean, Rogersville is probably one of the best communities there is, support-wise. They're at student sections are massive. People are very supportive. We've had so many people come out to games, come up, introduce themselves, take pictures. So I'm super, super grateful for that. Even at the state tournaments, we had packed crowds. So I'm really grateful for them. Just the community in general. I feel like super fun to play, at Logan-Rogersville, but it's time, for my next chapter, but forever grateful, forever a Wildcat for sure.
Well, Chase, well said, and we appreciate your time. We'll be pulling for you. We'll try to get you on a couple times during that Lumiere. You can't call it Lumiere and then say La Lu. I mean, what are we doing here? Which way are we going with it?
I'm just pronouncing it how I've been told how they pronounce it. So
right. What's the mascot?
It's a Laker. So they're like right on the lake. So they're the Lakers.
So your plan is to go from one Lakers, little stop of the Hoosiers, to the other Lakers, right?
Yep. That's the goal.
There you go. Well, Chase, again, thanks for your time. Best of luck to you, and we appreciate it. Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You betcha.
He is Chase Branham from Logan-Rogersville visiting with us. We'll take a time out on the starting line. I'll be right back. And those St. Louis Cardinals play tonight. They're on the road at Truist Field in Atlanta to play the Atlanta Braves, first of a 3-game series. And I believe the starting time is 6:15 tonight, but broadcast time will be about 35, 40 minutes earlier than that.
Absolutely. And big thanks to Chase. He doesn't have to come on with us and talk about it, but he did. And tough decision for a 17, 18-year-old kid. And there was some backlash over the weekend on social media. Not a huge amount, because I think most people understand why he's doing this. He really has accomplished everything he can do at Raj, with a state championship, with what he averaged, being all-state, All-American, things like that. He needs to challenge himself for the Big Ten.
And there's no question about it. That's a very mature decision if basketball is going to be his career, and it obviously is in his case, and his agent, which didn't used to be the case with high school athletes, but it is now. His agent has obviously advised him that, hey, you're going to get better. If you're going to get better, you've got to play stronger competition, and La Lumiere, it does provide that. They have a national schedule. Of course, it is a school, and he's got to go to classes in there. But by the same token, it will be a terrific learning experience against some top-quality athletes, because that league that they play in is all academy teams.
Yeah, they're in that EYBL, which Link plays in, and IMG and other schools like that. Just thinking about it now, the cool thing will be, it sounds like he's walking into a very loaded La Lumiere program up there. We may see Chase playing for a national championship on TV on ESPN next late March and April with that program, because they do go to the Chipotle Championships. They've been in Indiana here, just outside Indianapolis, the last couple years. But, just to, watched him as a freshman, and, I had friends saying, hey, you got to see this kid out at Raj, Branham. And interesting to know that he and Kyron Pickering are teammates in the summer. That's a kid, too. I agree. I think that kid is grossly under the radar, because the games I've watched him play, nobody can stop him. And you put those two in a summer league backcourt, that's a pretty nice combination.
Chase is how tall?
Chase is 6'4", and can get up. We're joking about the dunk thing, because it seemed like from freshman to junior year, his dunks got more powerful and demanding, and ooh and ahhing there too. But the Raj people, that they ought to look back and enjoy the Chase Branham era when they had it. And I did see something on Twitter in the last couple days, but I guess Vashon and I want to say Cardinal Ritter maybe, or CBC, one of the two up there, are the two St. Louis powerhouses, and they met up in a summer league shootout thing, and it was pretty epic. And the St. Louis writer said he doesn't know if there's anybody out there that can challenge Vashon this year for the I think they're still in Class 4 state championship. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, it said Gateway Sports Venue on June 27th, so late last week. Looking most likely to be two state champions if Principia, that's who it was.
Oh, yeah, sure.
If Principia moves up to Class 5-6, I don't know who stops Vashon in Class 4 and who beats Pren in Class 5 or 6. Apparently they must be jumping up, from 3 this year, which was kind of ridiculous. I mean, they were a mini NBA team in Class 3 this year. We saw them here at the Tournament Champions, but says Vashon looks better than last year's Final Four team, while Principia looks like a damn college team with their crazy size. So it'll be tough, but again, we said it earlier, you got John Shafer on that sideline. You got Titus Moore coming back. He'll be better. Jack Sutherland will now become more of an offensive threat because he's going to need to.
Yeah, don't sell him short.
Yeah, let's don't cry for Raj just yet. I think they'll be just fine.
And Coach Shafer will make sure they're just fine, too. He's very, very fine, astute coach.
Well, and I would say go up to Shafer and tell him you're not going to be very good this year and see what kind of reaction you get out of that. But and he did say that Coach Shafer, they talked. Shafer was the first one. Chase said off the air that he told about the decision, and Shafer, like a father figure coach would do, was let's make sure you're making the right decision. In the end, they all felt like it was the right decision.
Well, yeah, and when the school, knowing fully well what their background is and what their history is, actually approaches you about being there, sure, that's not one that you're going to take very lightly. That's a big decision, and he has in his mind, he being Chase, that he's going to play basketball, going to play it at the elite level. Indiana, come on, they're the Hoosiers, for heaven's sake, playing the Big Ten. The current national champion, Michigan, is from the Big Ten. And Big Ten and SEC are probably the elite conferences in the country. That's probably an arguable statement, but
Big 12 right there with them. Big 12 basketball.
Gosh, yeah, Big 12 is right up there. But this will be a really great, demanding circumstance for him, and he's a good player, very good player.
And he has tested himself in summers with this Kansas City AAU team. Now he'll get to do that year round and get ready for Indiana. Interesting. I was talking to Chris Parker, our Ozone guy, giving him a little bit of time off now to catch his breath on Mondays and come back full bore late next month. But there's a new program out of Kansas City called Monarch, and Chase was telling us about it off air a little bit. That it's kind of the Lincoln waiting, and I think it's a Rodney Perry may be coaching there now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Has he left K-State?
Well, I think he was part of that staff, wasn't he, that got
got let go,
and stuff. But anyway, they said keep an eye on this Monarch, another one of these academy programs that's based out of the Kansas City area, that they are going to be the fast riser in that world because of their AAU connections. So whole different world we live in there with the AAU and the academy basketball. You get people around here saying Link's not a high school team. Well, they're high school kids, but they just play at a different level. Kind of similar to travel baseball. In travel baseball, you got A teams, AA, AAA, and major. Well, Link and La Lumiere and those teams are the major division, and then you got really good high school teams that are in the AAA probably and stuff too.
There is a history behind this. These academy teams are not new. You probably are a little bit too young to remember when Lou Alcindor came up as a high school player from Power Memorial in New York. Power Memorial no longer exists. They closed the doors.
Was it private or public?
It was private. Definitely private. And when he was there, they made the tour of the country. That's how Alcindor made his name as being the great player that he was before going to UCLA. But the fact of the matter remains they have been around and they have played. Again, it's a circumstance that's become a whole lot more prevalent now. How long it lasts, who knows, because these things have a tendency to diminish a little bit. But this it's a good circumstance for youngsters who want to continue and have the talent to continue at a high level.
And there's a whole level of getting into the weeds with this that we don't know. And obviously I don't want to ask a 17-year-old kid from our area to go into there, but these academies, it's a recruiting war for La Lumiere versus Link versus IMG versus all those schools to get the top talent. And is there cash that's exchanged, or is it coming from shoe companies? Because those shoe companies align. I think Parker was telling me, and we need to get Parker on to break up his vacation to talk about this, but I think that Monarch in Kansas City is aligned with Nike now.
Are they already in a situation where they're playing a national schedule?
We'll look it up here during the break because I want to find out more. But, you get Nike or Adidas money behind your program. Some of that money is going toward those kids to come play there and wear those shoes. And then, you know, you get down the road in these academies. I mean, look at Link. They had 5 guys taken in the NBA draft last week, 5 former players, 4 first-rounders. What does that do for your recruiting the next year? And you know, when you get to a point where those guys get in the NBA and they're making $25 to $50 million a season, those guys might be kicking back a little bit at some point to the place that really kind of made them what they were.
Exactly.
And so you start doing that, and you see what's at stake with getting a high-level kid to come to your academy and not that other one. And Ned, we talked with Mike Peck last week. Chase said off the air that he looked at Link, but I think Link's only got 2 or 3 players committed for this year. They're right in the thick of things, and they'll be in Atlanta and all these places talking to these kids like Chase Branham saying, hey, you know, we had 4 guys in the first round last month and stuff. So it would be interesting to get somebody on that is willing to talk about that side of things and knows the details of what goes on behind the scenes.
I have to assume that Elliot Cadeau at Michigan and formerly North Carolina and formerly Link did not declare for any kind of NBA draft because I think he was eligible.
Well, or the portal, because, you know, they changed coaches, which opened up a portal window.
Maybe that's what he's doing.
And here's news from June 25th. Elliot Cadeau will remain at Michigan following Dusty May's departure. So there was speculation that he might go into the portal and move again after North Carolina, then Michigan, but he's going to stay put with Michigan and see if they can run it back there too. So let's talk a little auto racing with our guy here.
T-Bear's
on with us. We're going to talk auto racing. Big weekend coming up, big week, I say, on Thursday night up at Lucas Oil Speedway. T-Bear will tell us all about it next.
And we will take a timeout on the starting lineup and be right back. And this is the starting lineup brought to you by Play Against Sports, Swing Right Golf, Marshfield Chevrolet, and Citizens Bank of Rogersville. Ed Reynolds along with
Scott Purrier.
And our special guest.
Special guest is Trenton Berry of RacingDirt.com, our usual Tuesday auto racing guest. T-Berry, big program coming up at Lucas Oil Thursday night in Wheatland. We want everybody who listens to walk up and call you T-Bear, just so we get a gauge on how many people are listening and how many people have adopted the T-Bear nickname. Do you hear it coast to coast pretty much already or not?
I hear it quite a bit. Yeah. So a lot of my racing buddies, they listen to these segments, and some of the OGs listened even way back in my former life too, when that nickname got announced to everybody. So I get that quite a bit. I just roll with it. I like that. It's hey, whatever. It's fine.
And there were probably a lot worse nicknames for you back when you were a kid, weren't there?
A ton. Yeah, there were a ton of nicknames that could have been worse than that. But, that was the first time. You're really the first time I heard that, though.
Good. We'll take credit for that. Yeah. Tell us Thursday night, Lucas Oil, big program up there. Kind of give us the deets on the races people will see. I know there's a big fireworks show as well.
Huge fireworks show. One of the biggest in the entire area. Certainly the biggest in this little pocket of the world for sure. It's about a half hour. Sometimes it's a little over, sometimes a little under, but right around a half hour, completely choreographed. This is a big time setup, and it'll take place right at the end of the racing. They've ran this Thursday Night Thunder race, and obviously that's a play on words to the old television series from way back when. But what a great name for racing! Lucas runs one event around the 4th of July, and initially they did that because our Corps of Engineers shoots off fireworks up here right off the dam right around the 4th of July. And so they didn't want to keep people from that. They wanted to be a good partner in the community. They thought, hey, let's establish a Thursday race. And it's way out of the ordinary, but I'm telling you, people flock to this. Fans, racers. It was their second biggest crowd attendance-wise of the year last season was this event. And I like to tell everybody it's because the Heartland Modified Tour is going to be there, obviously, but really it's because of the fireworks, and I think everybody knows that, despite my best efforts there. But it's really an honor for our series to be a part of that. It's always a privilege to race there. There's tons of people that would love to be able to race there that you just don't get the chance based on the number of weekends. So for us to be able to slot in there is unbelievable. I'm so appreciative and thankful to the staff for allowing that to happen. And it'll be on us to make sure there's a good show. We had 50, I think it was 53 cars there last year for this race in our particular dirt modified division. So it kind of turns into a murderer's row. So we'll see what shows up this year. You never count your chickens before they hatch, but I'm really excited. What I think is going to be a great start to the weekend.
Trenton, the race itself is how long, and are there any names we might recognize?
So I'm not sure if number 75 is coming or not, but I feel like he probably will this weekend. He generally does. We haven't texted yet this week, so generally I'll get a text message or I'll shoot him one. We just haven't yet this week, but I would assume he'll probably be there, but I don't know that obviously as of right now. But yeah, there's going to be a few. Tanner Mullins from Wichita is expected to be there. Gary Christian. These are guys that race with the USMTS National Tour. We've got a heck of a points race going on within our series as well. We've got a $32,000 point fund these guys are shooting for with 80% attendance right now. And we've been so rained out. We've just gotten 3 races in. But driver out of Wichita, Kansas, Tyler Davis is out front in our points there. It's a super, super competitive group of racers that are running this Heartland Modified Tour, that are kind of running and gunning for this championship. So, yeah, for dirt racing fans, definitely going to be some names that you're used to seeing there. There'll be some other guys that are going to drop in that'll make this thing pretty awesome. And as far as length of races, we'll run a 30-lap main event on Thursday night to headline that thing.
Time for Purrier's Dumb Racing Question of the Week, brought to you by your sponsorship here. What constitutes a modified car? What does that mean, modified versus, I assume, non-modified?
Yeah, well, so you've kind of got your entry level, more of a stock car division, and there's pure stocks and street stocks and stock cars and super stocks and factory stocks.
Time out. What do all those mean?
Well, so all those mean full frame race cars they resemble a car body from generally the 80s. There are some newer bodies that are out there. There's some Monte Carlos. There's some people that put some wild Mustang bodies, newer style Mustang bodies on race cars, whatever like that. So that's considered like a stock car. Our dirt modifieds are about 650, 700 horse. The front wheels are open on those cars. Now, within the modified realm, and maybe this, we've talked about, hey, why is dirt racing confusing to people? Maybe it's because we have too many different classes and names for cars. But within the modifieds, we have 3. The tours that we sanction is the top tier of these dirt modifieds. Once you move past that, you have the super dirt late models, which are the highest level of what you would consider a stock car. And then you have obviously your open wheel divisions with your 410 wing and non-wing sprint cars.
What do they modify? I didn't get an answer. Did you know? What are they modifying?
Well, so they're built off of so it's an aftermarket front stub off of like a late 60s Chevelle is what most of these cars are built off of. So they have to have a stock cross member, stock steering components across the front end, and they run 2 frame rails. Although now they chop the right frame rail off, basically right behind where the front tire is situated. And then the rest of the race car is completely built. So as far as what they modified, it would have been a modified Chevelle from back in the day, like a muscle car you'd see at a car show, something like that currently. But they're all aftermarket stubs. There's a company out of Indiana that builds these, and this front stub is what constitutes the starting point for your race car. But everybody worries about the cross member digging into the racetrack. They try to keep the cross member out of the dirt. They've got to get the car to roll over, but not too much when it goes into the corner. There's a whole thing behind all this. Our stuff's pretty technical. Now, listen, I'm not going to tell you it's like what we watched at Kansas Speedway technical, because it's a completely different discipline. But these are big, loud, go fast, dig hard in the dirt type of race cars. They have a rear end that moves and the rear end moves and it sucks up underneath the race car.
Sounds like Ned.
When they're at speed.
Ned's got a rear end that moves. It moves slowly, but
very slowly.
Hey, listen, it's so okay. Now, listen, I'm gonna Okay.
And I believe
this
no,
get off the rails really
keep
quick.
it clean, Trenton.
Ned, I believe you have a standard member too, don't you?
it's
okay. So
non-useful.
listen, these are called. They have. So these were the rear end gears. There's 2 gears in the back of this thing. You pull this differential cover off. There's a big gear and a small gear. Okay, Scott.
Yeah.
Now
Thank you.
the standard language here. That is a quick change rear end that's in these race cars. I did not know we were headed down this route
what you
today.
identify with per year?
Ned, all you can wish for from now on is a quick change rear end, isn't it?
Jeez, come on.
Hey, listen, now, if I were you guys, I'd call PEM to get your new quick change rear end. They're a great supporter of the Heartland
There
Modified
you
Tour.
go.
Hey,
Yeah.
Trenton, are there pre-race and post-race inspections? Do they follow the rules?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. Chris Albright techs our race cars. He lives in Lebanon. He's a great young up-and-coming tech man. He's very, very mechanically inclined, engineering driven. Pretty sophisticated tech. I mean, there's things that'll come off the race car. They'll pull parts of the race car apart to inspect them, things you can't see with the naked eye. They get up underneath them, tape measures, flashlights, all sorts of things. And there's a very strict rule book that's adhered to. And that is by our sanctioning body. The United States Racing Association establishes those rules. And those are the rules that we race under for the race cars construction.
T-Bear, how old are you?
40.
In your lifetime, do you think we'll see electric car racing at some point?
Man,
it's going to kill the headphone industry and the earplug industry if they do, right?
Can I just say I hope not? And this is so bad too, because like I know to the people that are younger, they're like, "Oh yeah, great, you just sound like the old disgruntled guy." I'm really not, but I hope not. You know, so the NASCAR cars are fuel injected right now, the Cup cars. Meaning they don't have a carburetor that sits on top of the intake manifold. All of our racing is still carbureted. I'm very much a fan of 4-barrel carburetors for the race cars. I hope not. I would say probably in the NASCAR levels, probably in my lifetime, we'll see something electric. Do I feel like it comes to dirt racing? If I have anything to do about it on my end, we won't. We won't do that.
But Trenton, in Indianapolis, they have the Carburation Day, which is on Friday. It's a misnomer because they don't use carburetors. Do you have a Carburation Day practice?
No, everything. We have carburation life in dirt racing. There's nothing fuel injected in dirt racing besides the sprint cars, and it's a different type of fuel injection than even what NASCAR does. But all the dirt stock cars, they're all on different types and sizes and brands of carburetors. Yeah, still. So it's pretty old school in that regard, and it's kind of neat to still see so much of that.
Let's talk a little bit about the race over the weekend out at Sonoma, because you had Chase Van Gisbergen, Shane Van Gisbergen, was described after the race, the previous race, as being very annoyed that he had the accident. I'd say that's probably a pretty apt description because he came back with a fire in this one.
Yeah, he really did. But, so he's ran away with a lot of those road racing wins. So that was his 8th one. This one he definitely didn't run away with. And Chase Briscoe, the Bass Pro shop, sponsored 19. I don't know if he carried Bass Pro this weekend, but the Bass Pro car was he was right on him at the end. It wasn't a great race, really. It was okay. It wasn't the best that I've seen at Sonoma, the best that I've seen this year for sure. But SVG was there, and he showed why he's the man. Really the only one that he just kind of flat got beat at road racing wise of the 4 in NASCAR really was the one at Austin earlier this year at Circuit of the Americas. He's it. So Jeff Gordon's got the record at 9. That's all time for a Cup Series. And, barring some sort of catastrophe, SVG should shatter that record going away, and he should easily set the bar for most racing wins. I wouldn't be surprised if he does it next year even.
This was the last road race on the series, I believe.
Yes, for the year, for the season. That's 4, and that's plenty. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know that I love 4. I probably like 3 better. Here's the deal. I think Sonoma that we just finished, I think it's probably my least favorite of the road courses, but it's probably also not going to go away either. It's kind of a staple of the NASCAR schedule, so I'm okay with it, but we definitely don't need more than 4.
What would you say is the level of popularity with the fans out there of the road races? Because honestly, I watch it and then I get bored with it. because I want to see those pileups and 190 miles an hour and the threat of danger out there, and you don't get that as much with the road courses.
So I don't want to see the pileups. I don't like that. I don't like the crashes. It costs thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's very, very risky to drivers' health. I mean, Christopher Bell's been
making me feel bad with that.
Five
yeah, you're making me
last week was it's just. Hey, and the difference is because I'm not going to sit there and tell you I know that Cup grid top to bottom personally, but like I know a ton of people that race, and like it really it impacts them day to day, and it's recovery, and it's their livelihood, and it's their way to make a living for a lot of these guys. And it's not that you should feel bad for it, but for me, the racing, the side-by-side, the competition, the speed was enough. Obviously, crashing is part of it, for sure. But it just has a lot of ancillary effects that follow after that come with it that just kind of suck, really, if we're being honest. So the road racing, that what I don't love about it is it just gets single file and strung out. Like if you're in second, you're that guy in first is almost going to have to go run in the corner and screw up for you to be able to have a shot at him. And like the racing lines are very narrow. And I'm with you. It can drag on a little bit and does kind of get a little boring.
You told us last week, I believe this is correct now, at Charlotte they've modified the Roval does not exist anymore.
Done. Yeah. Well, so I mean, it's there, but yes, they're going to just run the traditional Charlotte Motor Speedway, the oval track, for the race this fall. Yeah.
Did they tear up that track, that road race?
So I don't know that, but I don't believe so. I didn't see anything that they tore it up. I think they just decided to go back to the oval for the fall, which is a good decision. And hey, Scott, you're probably not in the minority of people that like to see crashes and thrills and spills and danger. Like that's an inherent part of this sport. I just have kind of gotten to the point I don't love to see it anymore just because of what could happen on the backside.
I want to see some of these soccer players become NASCAR drivers, because if there's a crash, they're laying on top of the hood like it. It's death. Death is coming at that point. Yeah, but tell us about Chicagoland, this week's race. Are we back to the fast ovals and lots of peril?
Yes. So this racetrack is almost kind of not necessarily a total spitting image of Kansas Speedway, but it's the most similar to Kansas Speedway that's on the schedule. Even if you look at like the grandstand layout, the press box tower, Tony Stewart famously in a press conference a few years ago said that even down to the driver's motor coach lot, it was identical on the infield to what Kansas Speedway was when it was built. They were built at the same time by Lisa France Kennedy, oversaw the projects. The asphalt's worn out. They haven't raced there in 7 years. Obviously, Joliet right there is not quite as strong of a race market as what Kansas City has proven to be. But NASCAR does realize the value of operating in the third largest city, at least kind of in the metro in the country. So plans are still very much in place. I'll be shocked if the street course isn't back on the schedule for next year. I feel like this is kind of a stopgap, one and done for NASCAR, but we'll see. They go to Kansas Speedway twice. There's nothing saying they couldn't run a street race and Chicagoland Speedway if they want to in the same year. I did go back and watch a big chunk of that race from 2019 was the last time they were there. Alex Bowman won the race, and their grandstand attendance was not very good in 2019. Now, they had weather that day. They even had a stoppage early in the race. So we'll see. A packed grandstand Sunday night could go a long way towards figuring out what NASCAR is going to do with that racetrack going forward.
This is a Sunday night race, is that correct?
Yes, 5 o'clock. They're going to start 5 o'clock on TNT. Hey, and one thing too. So that was brand new this last week, and I don't know where you guys are at, but I love the storytelling of Marty Smith. I think Marty Smith's one of the greatest kind of feature reporters, sports journalists currently that exists. He got his start in NASCAR, and they'd slotted him in as the pre and post race host for TNT for the next 5 races. I thought he did a remarkable job. That was a new position for him, and I very much enjoyed having Marty Smith back in NASCAR.
Good for you.
Very good. Well, T-Bear, have a great race Thursday night. Again, people, if you're listening and you see that this guy just looks happy all the time, go up to him and call him T-Bear and make his day, okay?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And what time does Lucas Oil – I'm sorry.
if I could get the racetrack on board, I'd love, if somebody was of age and they said, "Hey, T-Bear," I'd just give them like a free beer voucher for the beer, for the beer shack. That'd be a good, cool promo.
Free beers for T-Bears, right? We can do a promo up there, right?
Yeah,
so, all right. Well, have fun with it. Again, I think it all starts, hot laps like at 6:30 maybe on Thursday night?
Yeah, about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I think the gates generally open at 5 o'clock there on their on their standard events. So it's going to be a warm one, but it's going to be dry. So
yeah, 90,
I'll take that at this
90
point.
and no rain is okay for promoters, right?
Great.
Yeah,
great. 90 and no rain's wonderful. Beautiful. If we could get 80 and no rain, that's even better, but we don't scoff at 90 and no rain.
There you go. Have a good one, T-Bear. Yeah. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks. Have a great show.
You bet.
Happy 4th, Trenton. Trenton Berry visiting with us. We'll take a timeout on the starting lineup and return in just a split second. Old Timers Luncheon coming up tomorrow. Talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, 11:30 a.m. Golden Corral. Dave Davis, the longtime Hillcrest baseball and journalism instructor over there, is going to join us as our special guest. 11:30 at Golden Corral, 2020 East Primrose. Hope to see you there. Dug into this KC Monarch Academy. This will be their first season this winter coming up, and Rodney Perry is the director of basketball operations. The head coach is Chris Neff, who was the head coach at Staley when they won the state championship back in 23. Mm-hmm. So a new and Chris Parker kind of tipped me off to this with the Ozone, that this is kind of the up-and-comer to watch, that they are accredited and certified, and they will be competing in the EYBL as well. So Monarch Academy looks like it's on the Kansas side of things, but those who are wondering what happened to Rodney Perry when they had the staff change out in K-State, this is where Rodney is wound up.
And he'll do a great job with them. He is a terrific coach.
Absolutely.
Terrific mentor, as a matter of fact. Okay, gang, we are out of time. Cardinals baseball coming up tonight here on 102.1 The One. So we invite you to listen to that as well as be with us tomorrow. Great having you with us on this pre-4th of July. Pre-4th of July Tuesday. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Pereira.
And for Art Haynes, who will be back with us next week. Thanks for being with us, folks, and we'll see you tomorrow right here